Hey everybody, welcome back to my video, and today's going to be a little different. I'm going to sit here and answer some questions that you guys have sent to me in the comment sections in previous videos or have DM'd me on Instagram, and that question has mainly been, how much do I pay for my apartment here in Tokyo, and how did I find my apartment here in Tokyo? So this is going to be an apartment hunting video where I will share with you, stick around till the end, and I'll tell you how much I pay for this place, and along the way I'm going to tell you how I found this place and ways that you can find an apartment in Tokyo so that it makes your life a little bit easier when you get here. Now, I'm also going to debunk a common myth that Tokyo is this exceptionally expensive city. Now, housing in Tokyo can be really expensive. I mean, check out this video.
$5,700 a month, 120 square meter, entire house right here in Nakameguro.
But that is not the typical experience in Tokyo. Even if you take a look at that entire video, for what they're paying for that, it's a tiny, tiny apartment. But at the lower levels, you can get some really, really affordable stuff, and that's the point of this video, is I want to show you how affordable Tokyo can be, and that you can move here on a budget and actually have a pretty decent place to live. So let's talk about some of the places that you might move into when you come to Tokyo. Okay, the first thing I'm going to talk about is share houses. Share houses are quite a common thing, again, to attract a younger demographic and try to attract them to move to the city, especially during university or even shortly after graduating. Share houses, because of their affordability, can be a really, really great way for you to get started in Tokyo. So basically, share houses are an apartment building very similar to like a small hotel. So when you rent a share house, you're basically renting a room. Think of it as like you're renting a hotel room. And that's the best explanation that I can give, because you're literally just getting a room. And oftentimes these rooms are very, very small, just big enough to hold a bed and maybe a desk. The nice thing about the share house is, yes, you get your room, but then the rest of the house is a shared space. So many of these places are quite luxurious, or can be quite luxurious and really inviting. So for example, this one that I found has a restaurant style kitchen and dining area, so you can come downstairs and cook, and they provide all of the dishes, they provide all of the cookware, the utensils, everything. All you have to do is buy the food you actually want to make, and then you can come use the kitchen. They have a movie theater that you can plug in your own video game system or computer or Apple TV or whatever you want. You can plug it into the projector and have like a movie theater experience, have a movie night with your friends or by yourself. A lot of these places have amenities like this. A lot of these places have a game room that have like pool or darts or a communal place for people to hang out. So they're a really, really great way for you to move into a new place without feeling also super alone, right? So because you have your own room, if you want that quiet time and you want to be alone, you just go to your room. Or if you want to go and be social and you want to go and meet people and hang out and have that sort of community vibe, then the rest of the house has that for you to be able to go out, interact with other people. Just a really cool way to meet people. One of the downsides of most of these share houses is that you don't have your own private bathroom. So yeah, that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, not all of them. Some of them do have bathrooms in your own room, so you just have to call around and check out. Another thing that makes share houses so great is the price. So when you're moving into a share house, you can expect, in some cases, these share houses can go for as little as around $300 US a month to somewhere around $500 to $600 US per month, depending on where you are. Location is going to dictate how much you pay. So the closer to the city center of Tokyo, like Shinjuku, Shibuya, these really mega city centers, the closer you are to there, expect to pay more. The further out you go, you can definitely save a little bit of money. But one thing to keep in mind is that the trains in Tokyo are extremely efficient, they're fast, and you're never more than, 30 minutes or so away from the city center, almost wherever you are in Tokyo. Now, if you want to see an example of these share houses, specifically the video that I've been sort of teasing you with, the particular video will be in the description box below. So if you want to see a little bit more about that particular share house, click on the link down below after you finish watching this video, of course. And while you're there, please subscribe and like this video and hit that bell notification so you can hear more about what's going on here in Japan with me. Next, we're going to talk about renting your own apartment. So something like this, a standard, typical apartment, not a share house, something that is yours and yours alone. When talking about like regular apartments, Tokyo still has an edge over just about every other major city in the world, in the sense that there are a lot of these tiny apartments all over Tokyo. Now, I'm sure you've seen many videos with people touring their tiny apartments. I have one, and you can check it out right here in this card. Little tour of my tiny Tokyo apartment. But Tokyo does happen to have a lot of tiny apartments, and that's good If you are new to the city, if you're young to the city, and you're wanting to make that move, Tokyo, I think, is leading among almost every other major country as far as cost goes. It's a little expensive to move into the apartment. We'll get to that a little bit later. Once you're in, it's really quite affordable to maintain and stay. When you go looking at Japanese websites for apartments, there's going to be these designations. So I'm going to break down what it is that you're looking at when you go to look at these sites. So for example, you're going to see things like a 1K, 1DK, 1LDK, 2LDK, 3LDK. The breakdown is a 1K is considered an apartment that has basically one kitchen, and then you do have like your living space. So oftentimes it's just one big room that's sort of sectioned off. Of course, you'd have your own bathroom in all of these apartments. A 1K basically designates a kitchen and then a living space for you to set up your bed and a desk or whatever. So that's gonna be a 1K. Then you're gonna have a 1DK, which is gonna be very similar to a 1K, but would have a slightly larger space that would also be considered a dining area. So that's the D. And then you have a 1LDK. And a 1LDK means a 1-bedroom living space and then the dining space and the kitchen space. And then you have 2LDK, 3LDK, and that just indicates the bedrooms. So that's a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom apartment is a 3LDK, and so on. This place that I live in right now is technically a 1K. So it's just a kitchen. I don't have any specific designated space for a dining area. I suppose this area that we're sitting in right now could be a dining area if I wanted it to, but I created a small living room space. Again, if you click that card, you can see a tour of my apartment and how I decorated it completely and my whole process of getting in here. And again, also the price of these apartments is going to be dependent on two things. How old is the building and how far or close it is to the city centers. And when I say city centers, I'm always referring to Shinjuku, Harajuku, Shibuya, all those really popular destination locations. So the closer you are to that area, the more expensive things are going to be. As you spread out from those areas, they can tend to get a little bit cheaper. Depending on where you choose to live, some of these places can start again as low as $300 and $400 a month. So when you're thinking about moving into the city, knowing that you can get a decent place for under $1,000 per month, and in many places even less than $500 a month, really gives Tokyo an edge, because you have so many of these housings that were built specifically for people to be able to easily move into the city. Another thing to keep in mind is when you do get your own apartment, you definitely have to pay for your own utilities. You have to set up your own water and garbage, electricity, gas, internet. All of those are things that usually you will have to get on your own. As opposed to the share houses that we just talked about before, all of them, or nearly all of them, are gonna come with all utilities included, plus Wi-Fi included. So those are added expenses that you won't have to consider when looking at a share house. But when looking at your own apartment, most of the time you're gonna have to set those things up yourself too. Now also, there are a lot of different sites that you can search for apartments out there. My favorite, and the one that I use to find this place, is called gaijinpot.com. I'll put them in the link below. This is not a sponsored video. I'm just trying to show you guys a way that you can maybe find connections or find ways to actually look for stuff. It's a way to help foreigners to be able to slightly more easily transition into life here in Japan. So gaijinpot down below. Gaijin means foreigner. So this website is specifically targeted to foreigners to help life be a little bit easier as you're coming over here. When you use this website, and I encourage you to click in the link down below and play with it a little bit, but when you use this site, you can search by location, you can search by price, you can search by furnished or unfurnished. Then you'll get a list of apartments, you can see pictures, you can see the floor plans, and it will also tell you exactly what the costs are to move in. If you see something you like, you click on it, you send a message out, and basically Gaijinpot connects you to agents from many different companies. So they kind of are like a shopping mall for agencies, sort of. So you send these messages out, it doesn't go specifically to Gaijinpot, it goes to the agency that's representing that particular apartment that you're interested in. And then someone will get back to you, and oftentimes they'll set up a video Zoom call or something like that to get more information for you, and then they can either show you the apartment you're interested in or give you lists of other apartments that you can go take a look at. And the process to get an apartment can take some time, so start early and know what your budgets are. Also, using Gaijinpot, because they work specifically with foreigners, it's a great way to know that the apartments you're looking for will accept you. If you've watched a lot of videos on renting apartments in Japan, you will see a common theme is that a lot of landlords, they don't want to rent to foreigners, they want to rent to only Japanese people. And the reason is they consider foreigners to be a flight risk. So if they rent their apartment, a lot of foreigners tend to not stick around for that long, and they end up returning back to their home country, and oftentimes they just drop everything and leave, leaving the landlords to clean up the apartment. They're not getting the rent for the apartment, and so there's just a lot of trouble sometimes with renting to foreigners. So that's why you'll see a lot of issues with trying to get an apartment in Japan. However, using a site like Gaijinpot, these are apartments that are already foreign friendly. Now let's talk a little bit about cost, because moving into an apartment can be pretty daunting as far as the cost to get in. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. To move into an apartment in Japan is gonna cost you anywhere from 4 to 6 months of rent up front before they even hand you the key. In the US, a lot of times you have to pay first month, last month, and security deposit, which are often 1 month each. So in the US, it's not uncommon to have to pay 3 months of rent to be able to move into an apartment or a home. In Japan, it's going to be closer to 4 and 6 and probably about 5. Probably about 5 months rent is what you're going to need to put up front. And that's first month, last month, security deposit. Then they have something called key money, which is essentially just giving a month's worth of money to the landlord as a way to say thanks for letting me live here. But then they also have something called gift money, which is 1 month's rent. And that is literally money that is just thank you for letting me live here. So that's literally 2 months of rent that's like thank you money you will never ever get back. Your security deposit, depending on how well you take care of the place while you live here, you should get most if not all of that back. And then also your agent is of course going to charge a fee for helping you get the apartment and for finding the apartment, and that can be up to a month's worth of rent. It just is what it is, so plan ahead. Again, going back to the share houses don't have as many fees to move in. So some share houses, you just pay your first month and you move in. Some first and last, some first, last, and security deposit, but share houses don't have as many fees to move in. So again, a really affordable and inexpensive way to move into an apartment and get yourself grounded is by checking out the share house option. And then once you're in Japan and you sort of settle yourself, then you can plan and then look and possibly move into another apartment that is going to require these fees. They just are, so just know it and be prepared. Again, a thing to keep in mind, if you're searching on Gaijinpot, you're gonna see a lot of specials that say no deposit, no key money. So do take advantage of finding that, because you might save yourself 1 or 2 months worth of that 5 or 6 months of rent deposit that you have to put down just to move in. You might be able to save yourself on 1 or 2 of those months worth of money by searching on Gaijinpot and taking advantage of some of these specials that you will see. Now about my apartment. A lot of you have been asking me how much do I pay to live in this apartment. Now my apartment, which is a 1K apartment, it's slightly bigger than your typical 1K, but it still counts as a 1K apartment, is in Shinjuku. So I'm in the very, very, very central city center part of Tokyo. And the rent for this apartment is around 91,000 Japanese yen per month. And as of August 2022, that comes out to about 683 US dollars per month. So I pay a little under $700 a month to live in the city center of Tokyo. I do have to pay my utilities, so again, that's your gas, electricity, water and garbage, cell phone, internet, and that comes out to about another $160 per month for all of those things combined. And that's the most recent cost, and it's the middle of summer, which Japan summers are very hot and humid, so my air conditioner has been on non-stop 24 hours a day since about mid-June, and we're mid-August right now, so that should give you an idea. Now I am thinking about making a day in the life video where I take you along with me and I break down the cost of what a typical day here in Tokyo looks like. There's a million of them out there already on YouTube, but if that interests you and you want to see what a typical day for me looks like and what the cost breakdown is, let me know in the comments below, let me know on Instagram, and I will make that video for you. So as you can see, although Tokyo is an expensive city, it does have quite a lot of quality, safe, and affordable housing, which is why so many people after high school or university flock to the city, because there are just really so many affordable places to be able to come here. And so the city has done a really good job of attracting people and getting them to move from the rural areas into the city. This is becoming a problem in those rural areas, but that's for another video. Also, aside from the affordability factor of how easy it is to actually find housing and pay for it here, Tokyo just offers an endless array of entertainment. There's so much in the way of foods, drinks, restaurants, stuff to do, places to go. It's a never-ending landscape of entertainment. So it's another reason why so many people are so excited and ready to come here. And as always, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, smash like, subscribe, hit that bell notification so that you get the new videos as soon as they come out. And also because we are becoming a little family up in here. I really love the conversations that we have going on, so really keep them coming. I really love talking to you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Click here to see my apartment tour, or click over here and let YouTube decide for you.